As most of you already know, I recently got offers from companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Uber and Atlassian. So I decided to join Atlassian, and I have already shared in another video why I did that. But when I told my father that okay, I have decided to join Atlassian, he was a bit disappointed. He was like, why don't you join companies like Amazon, Microsoft or even Uber? Basically the companies he has at least heard of. He had never heard of Atlassian, and in fact now also whenever I tell any relative or someone that I work at Atlassian, they have never heard of the company and they go like, okay, some random company. So I told him that you know what, you take some time, you do your research and come back to me.
ये छगन को बीज देने हैं तो बीज तो मगन ले गया.
Because my father is a person who talks very sensible. Like he has very good reasons behind every advice that he gives. So I asked him to do his own research and come back to me and tell me that okay, whether I'm making a right decision or not. So he did his own research. I did not tell him that okay, you know what, you should consider these points. So this is purely from a non-software developer perspective, but as a family member who wants to know that okay, in which company I am working. So he did his research. He compared all the 4 companies from which I had offers, which is Amazon, Microsoft, Uber, Atlassian, and he also compared the company that I was working at, that was Intuit. So he compared all the 5 companies and he came back to me with a lot of data, and it was so impressive because he had the entire Excel and everything ready. So I thought this definitely deserves to be a video altogether.
Yeah, boy.
Because I should share with you how excessively organized my father can be, and he had very good points also. So that's what this video is about. Let's get started. But before we get started, let me quickly tell you about the sponsor of the video. If you want to work for Amazon, then Geeksforgeeks has brought a Jobathon exclusive hiring challenge partnered with Amazon to fulfill your dream for different SDE roles. The best part is that the hiring challenge is totally free, and anyone with 1 to 3+ years of experience can apply for this event. Don't miss out this exciting opportunity. It is going to happen on the 5th of every month for the next 3 months. The next one is going to happen on 5th August from 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. There will be coding questions on DSA and MCQ questions on programming languages, etc. The languages supported for the DSA problems are C++, Java and Python. The registration process is fairly simple. You can register using the link in the description. Do apply. There is no harm in trying it out. This might just be the opportunity that you were waiting for.
Hi guys.
So let's get started with the video. Why were you so disappointed when I told you that I'm going to join Atlassian?
Keerti, anybody. Suppose you give me a news that you have been selected in Amazon and Microsoft and you are joining Atlassian, which I had not even heard the name of. Definitely I would be disappointed.
Even Uber, you had heard of it, right?
Of course, Uber, my idea was only that it's a e-mobility company and I was not the idea of the scale of operations it is having. And then I tried to Google out all the companies and try to see some data. And then I really found that Atlassian is a good company which is going to grow big in the coming years.
So this is completely from a non-software developer's perspective. So I would like you to cover all the points that you did the research on, you know, what all things that you considered when comparing the companies.
Basically, when you do a research of the company, it has different perspectives. When you are looking at from investor point of view, it has a different perspective. But when you are looking from an employee point of view, then it has a different perspective. You should see the growth opportunities, you should see the pay scales and all. I'm definitely sure you would have seen all those things. Right. And you would have seen the team culture also. I'm sure that you would have interacted with your team and found out that it is really suitable for you to join. But what I looked at is the size of the company first.
Okay.
Let me share some data, what I had collected and researched. Basically, if you see, Atlassian is a very small company with around 8,000 employees. Whereas...
One second. So my father has done very much research. So you can see this is how organized my father is. He maintains Excel sheets of everything, my taxation, everything. He takes care of it. So this is just a sample of how organized he can be. And I'm just completely opposite of that.
Keerti, when you are taking a decision of your career, definitely you have to look into the data and then you should decide. Now, as I was sharing with you, it is a company which has only 8,000 employees. That is the biggest plus point. Whereas if you see on the upper hand, Amazon has around 12,98,000, maybe 13 lakh employees. Microsoft, 1,82,000 employees. Uber, 29,000 employees. And Intuit, of course, the company which you are serving, 13,000 plus employees.
So when the number of the employees is less in a company, you basically have more opportunity to showcase your work.
Definitely, you have an opportunity to prove yourself.
Yes. And
you
feel
can
like
stand apart.
Right. You feel like you're making more impact over
yes.
there. Right.
And then what I saw is the turnover of the company.
Okay.
How it has grown over the last 5 years.
Okay.
And surprisingly, Atlassian has grown fastest than all of the four. Not in terms of size, but in terms of growth.
Okay.
Atlassian has grown at the rate of 27%. From 0.626 billion in 2016, it grew to a 2 billion company in 2021. So 27% CAGR growth. Microsoft grew by around 11.7%. Uber by 17%. Amazon by 21.4% and Intuit by 13.12%. Now this is another plus point. See, the company is growing very fast. It's a small company, but it is growing very fast. And if you go to this, I'm sure you would have seen it, that they have a vision of taking this company to 10 billion company. Of course, they have not specified number of years. I'm saying, say roughly in 5 years. That means again they will be growing at a rate of 38% per annum, CAGR, that is compound annual growth rate, which is very, very impressive.
So actually, the smaller the companies, the more opportunity there is to grow, right? Obviously, it can grow much more percentage.
Definitely.
Obviously, for a company like Amazon, because it has already grown so much, the scope of improvement is a bit lesser compared to, say, Atlassian.
No, I would not say that the scope of improvement is lesser, but the percentage growth will be less.
That's what I meant. The percentage growth will obviously be lesser.
And another very important aspect, now these days, gone are the days when we used to serve the companies. Now your compensation, major part of the compensation includes ESOPs, your stock options. So you have to see how the stocks are performing. So I plotted the data again from 1st July 17 to 1st April 22, and again I have done it for 1st July 22. So from 1st July 17 to 1st April 22, the share prices have grown 9 times in case of Atlassian, 4.4 times in terms of Microsoft, and of course Uber, it has been a degrowth of 0.87 only, and again Amazon 3.38 times and 27.5% CAGR, and this Intuit has grown by 3 times. So 9 times it has grown in 5 years, in less than 5 years.
Right.
So basically whatever rewards you are getting in terms of, or compensation you are getting in terms of ESOPs, you should see that how fast that is going to convert it into the money. Of course, after April, and rather after June or last year or September last year, the shares of the IT companies, including the NASDAQ companies, have fallen down considerably. Considering those also, it has grown reasonably well.
Right, compared to all the other companies that we have considered.
Yes, what we have considered.
Right.
Then another point which I saw was the market cap.
Okay.
Market cap is basically a parameter from an investor point of view, but it gives you the size of the company.
Okay. Can you quickly explain what is
Yeah, it is basically number of shares into the share price.
Okay.
So suppose if we take today, Atlassian is a 50 billion company, Microsoft is 2 trillion company.
So that is like the value of number of shares into the
share price.
Okay.
Then Uber is roughly same, 47 billions. Amazon is 1.23 trillions, and Intuit is 122 billions. So again, there's an opportunity, being a small cap company or mid cap company, it has an opportunity to grow faster than the other companies.
Okay. Got it.
So in the long run, it will be rewarding.
Right. Right.
If you, whatever decision you have taken, I feel it's a good decision, what you have taken based on the data which I have in front of me now.
Right, right. So while choosing any company, the first thing that we should see is the kind of work that we'll be doing. For a software developer, it will be tech stack, it will be what kind of team I'm working on,
very
all
important.
of that. But this is from a non-software developer.
Keerti, very important point you have raised. In fact, everybody knows what Amazon does, what Microsoft is doing, but we do not know in detail the scope of the services of Amazon. When I really got, I was myself surprised to in what all fields they are. Similarly, Microsoft. But when it comes to Intuit and when it comes to Atlassian, for Intuit you are working, until unless you have a passion for finance, you will not enjoy your work.
Yeah, that is where I actually struggled a bit in Intuit, because I was never so interested in taxation system and all of that.
Yeah.
So that is why I was like, okay, now I should work in a company which basically Atlassian works for developers, right? The products are for developers, so I can relate to the product completely. So that was my number one thing, that okay, I can relate to the product. I'm using it in daily
Very
life.
good. So if you have a flair for working on that product, you will not only enjoy the work, you will be able to excel in the field.
Correct. Yeah. So actually, you also did research on what all products each of these companies have, right?
Definitely.
So can you quickly talk about that, like again, to understand from a non-software developer perspective? So for those who are not into IT and are still watching this video, will be able to understand that how much you can understand just from doing like normal Google research. Like I have not helped him at all.
Basically, go to Google Finance and you'll find all data, or go to Wikipedia. It is all available.
So
basically, Intuit is a global technology platform which is into the financial products. It makes the life of consumers easier by providing financial products.
Right.
So if you have a flair for working on financial products, you should join Intuit.
Okay.
Then Atlassian, it's a holding company which is basically into developing the developer tools. So if you have a flair for developing tools for the software developers, like whatever, I may be not new to these terms, Jira, Confluence, Chat, etc., which is given on the Wikipedia, you people know it better, and the people who are in the software field know it better. If they are into this field to improve upon these products, or to develop these products, or to add new features to these products, then definitely you should join this company. Uber Technology is an American mobility company, as we know. It is into, of course, in our country, it is only into the taxi services. Whereas in other countries, into ride hailing, food delivery, package delivery, couriers, freight transportation, etc.
In our country also, it is into package delivery and all.
Okay, I was not aware of
Food
this.
delivery has stopped, but package delivery is still happening.
So these are the areas. And Microsoft, we know, is into the field of computer software, consumer electronics, personal computers related services, and so many other services related to these fields. Then Amazon, we know, the biggest is the e-commerce, then cloud computing, digital streaming, and artificial intelligence. I do not know, when you people were interviewed, whether you are made clear you are being interviewed for e-commerce, cloud computing, digital streaming, artificial intelligence. Suppose you have a flair for e-commerce and you are placed in a field called cloud computing, then you will find yourself nowhere.
No. So we know already, like when we are applying. So I talked to multiple teams in Amazon. Like, so I had options that I could choose from. That okay, I'll be working on this or on this or.
So these are some of the fields which I could see. And we spoke of some quantitative terms, some data we spoke.
Yeah.
Then while looking through the data on Atlassian, I found certain interesting things that I shared with you, that it has a line of sight for $10 billion company in annual revenue, which is 2 billion at present.
Right.
And from 8,000, they are going to scale it up to 25,000 employees, which you may take it as an advantage, like the company is growing very fast, or again, you may think it twice, that company is so growing fast, again, it will not be a small company. That depends on individual to individual.
Right. Some people can also think that right now the values are so good, but when you hire at such a good rate, then sometimes the quality of the people, sometimes the principles go for a toss, because you're hiring new people altogether. You can't really maintain your principles, right? So that is one way to look at it. The other way is that, okay, there will be so much opportunity, there will be new talent, so everyone will be excited to work on new things.
And then what I found is that they are giving a projection of revenue growth is 35% CAGR, which translates that from 2 billion to 10 billion, roughly in 5+ years or 6 years, they will be a $10 billion company, which is a big achievement. Then free cash flow also, they are projecting a CAGR growth of 43%. It's just very good.
So all of this you have found from your own research, like
Definitely.
all of this was...
It is available on the Atlassian website also.
Okay.
Anybody can do it.
Okay.
So now I found the values also very interesting. If you permit, we can read it out. Open company, no bullshit. At least company is clear that what it wants. Play as a team. Build with heart and balance. No nonsense with customer. It is in different terms. Be the change you seek. Very important. And if they are following these values, nothing can be better than this. Then basically 83% of the Fortune 500 companies, which is a very, very surprising data, use Atlassian products. That shows the reach of the products.
83% of the
Fortune 500 companies.
That's a lot.
It's a big data. Then 10 million monthly active users who use Atlassian cloud products.
Atlassian is basically covering most of the market in this area.
Then they have customers in over 190 countries, and they have offices in more than 13 countries. Then they have a customer database of more than 225,000. And in the last Q3 of 2022, they added 8,000 new customers. Of course, there was some net deletion because of the Russia and all, which I read it on the site, but still there's a net addition of 8,000 customers. And they are planning to shift the headquarters from UK to US. I think it is likely to happen very soon based on the regulatory approvals and all. Then one of the awards they have got from Gartner Peer Insights, Voice of the Customer, which is one of the very good awards a company can get. This is the sum of the data which I could collect, and I find that you have taken a right choice. I can wish you all the best, and wherever you're serving, you grow and you contribute your best there.
So I have one question. Now
Sure.
this is not in terms of like the data that you have collected. So obviously when people ask you that, which company your daughter works in, so people might not have heard of Atlassian, like you have not heard of it. And like obviously you can't sit and explain the entire data points to them, right? So in this case, like because in India, everyone's like, oh, person works in a company I've heard of versus person works in a company I've never heard of. So earlier, I think everyone has this thing, you work in like well-known companies or you study in well-known colleges. So has your perspective changed a bit that it's okay if, children work in companies that you have not heard of, and at least they're working in companies that are good. So what do you have to say about that?
I'm proud that whatever research you did, I'm not aware of. And I would not like to waste time because I think you would have definitely shared on what basis you have chosen to join Atlassian. You chose to join Atlassian. It's very good based on the data which I have in presence of me now and which I have shared with your audience. And I wish you all the best in your career and all the avenues.
So this is just one more point to talk
sure.
about
Please,
before
please,
joining.
please.
So before I joined Intuit also, you did not know about Intuit. Before I joined, you did not know about Atlassian. So there are many such companies. So we don't feel the pressure of working in companies that our society has heard a lot, right?
Keerti, earlier there were limited companies where people were working. Like when we used to join, there were some public sectors and some private sectors. Now with the growth of IT companies, which is the backbone of Indian economy, there are so many companies, so many startups where people are working. And I being in the stock markets, I know there are more than 6,000 companies and many of them are doing very well. So there is nothing wrong in choosing the company which is not known in the public but which is doing well.
Okay, thank you so much for coming and doing this. Let's do more and more videos together. Let us know in the comments what else you would like to see us creating content, like what other type of content you would like to see us create together.
Thank you very much, Keerti, for giving me this opportunity, and I hope this data would have added some value to your audience. Thanks a lot.
Ta-da.
Thank you.